What you play with me? Chill.
It was everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental, what we're going to watch here.
Size different than because he views Jake Paul as a decent boxer. This is not the first time that someone has come out and said this. We've heard Terrence Bud Crawford come out and say that because of the size difference, Tank won't be able to hurt Jake Paul, and that Jake Paul...
Floyd Mayweather reportedly stormed the stage during the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis press conference, issuing a stern warning to Jake. The event quickly escalated as both camps exchanged sharp words, creating an atmosphere thick with tension. The heated moment made it clear just how serious and personal this upcoming showdown has become.
Honestly, I'm gonna knock him out. You know, he has a lot of flaws in his defense, and I'm gonna expose him. You know, look what a 135 Lamont Roach did to him, and it's.
Many critics have been quick to dismiss the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis matchup as unnecessary, labeling it more of a spectacle than a sport. However, not everyone shares that view. Ariel Helwani offered a contrasting perspective, pointing out that MMA fans often embrace experimental matchups, finding them thrilling and entertaining. Yet, when similar crossover events happen in boxing, those same audiences react negatively, calling them meaningless. Helwani argued that this reaction reveals a clear double standard between the two combat sports. To him, the fight may not align with boxing's traditional values, but it undeniably carries massive entertainment appeal.
Generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150. How much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? You know what I mean, PT? In MMA, like, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks, there's no doubt about that. But I will say...
You agree, right, or no?
Yeah, like, the idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental, what we're going to watch here. I think where people get annoyed with Jake is, like, you know, he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outrage farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like... reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. You know, like, this is every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as, like, you know, why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'd be like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactfully, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like, he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is, this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all enjoy it collectively.
But do you not think he does agree to that?
Floyd Mayweather spoke about the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight, saying that while the Paul brothers are doing things most people don't understand and should be allowed to follow their own path, Jake's skills have yet to face a real test. According to Floyd, Jake has never stepped into the ring with someone who possesses true experience or elite boxing ability, someone who truly represents what real fighters stand for inside the ring.
Like I said before, they know what they're doing. Both brothers. Logan as well as Jake, they know what they're doing.
The upcoming matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul has left both fans and boxing analysts deeply divided. To many, this fight feels misplaced, an event that strays from the true spirit of professional boxing. The reactions have been especially strong among fans who have supported Davis since his early rise. They view this bout as a step backward for a fighter celebrated for his explosive knockouts and relentless dedication to the sport. The criticism isn't just aimed at Jake Paul's YouTube background, but at the very notion that a fighter of Davis' caliber would even consider taking part in such an exhibition.
I think that Tank ain't gonna knock out Jake Paul. Like, bruh, I'm gonna tell you exactly how it's gonna go. Jake Paul will go in that ring thinking he has the upper hand, he has the reach, he has the weight, and he gonna go in there confident. Yeah, he might stun Tank a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you, he gonna underestimate Tank. That's exactly what's about to happen. He's gonna underestimate him and his size, and he gonna get crushed. I think this right here is what's gonna end Jake Paul's boxing career. I think that Jake Paul, when you sit here and think about it, the people he fought, I'm not saying they wasn't real fighters, but They just not no Tank Davis. Buddy, I'm telling you, I don't think this is scripted. I think, yes, this is for money, but I think it's like, hey, at your own cost, go in that ring. Y'all know the weight difference. What's going to happen is what's going to happen at the end of the day. I think Tank really go, drop him. He ain't going to understand. Jake Paul ain't understand how, but he's about to see it. And on some real stuff, I think Tank setting Jake Paul up. So I remember when Jake Paul went up against Tyson, he said, you need to fight me. Like, I want to get in the ring with Jake Paul. He disrespected the boxing world by getting in the ring with Tyson and embarrassing him. And, you know, Tank really messed with Tyson. I think he's setting him up, bro. Mark my words. I think he's like, yeah, come in the ring, bro. We're going to do a friendly, you know what I'm saying? You know, a match or whatever. We're going to get this money. He about to embarrass him November 14th. Just because Jake Paul think the boxing world's sweet. He think it's sweet. He think they about to keep taking it easy on him with these fights. All right, I bet you. How much I want to bet? Tank is setting him up. He's gonna literally do him so bad just to make an example.
This fight is surrounded by bizarre moments that make it difficult for fans to take it seriously. One such moment involves Shakur Stevenson, who recently became a topic of heated discussion after reports claimed he sparred with Jake Paul. Many fans turned against him, accusing Shakur of supporting an event they already despise. However, Stevenson calmly responded, saying he isn't bothered by the criticism and instead uses it as motivation. His composed reaction reflects his maturity as a professional. Still, the fact that even unrelated fighters are being dragged into this debate shows just how controversial this matchup has become. People now seem more invested in the drama and social media chatter than the actual sporting value of the fight itself.
When Turkey was doing all that, like, I don't want no boring Tom and Jerry fights, he came out with a Tom and Jerry hat. And then he fought in a style that is not sustainable for him. And it's not, again, for me, it's not sustainable because fighting like that, if you do that with the wrong one, you'll lose. If you fight how you fight, okay, it's going to be harder to win. But you're putting your own self on the chopping block, trying to appease the crowd or not be Tom and Jerry. It's not sustainable. And even in the Zepeda fight, he got rocked back with a jab and fell into the ropes like that. So you could say I wasn't hurt and all that, but it's still a bad look. It's a bad look. People always talk about Tank, the knee, hair grease thing, but what about Shakur getting rocked into the ropes from a Zepeda jab? Even if you were off balance, you're supposed to be light years ahead of Zepeda skillfully. So to me, that still looks really bad. Like, I've watched 50 fights from Floyd Mayweather, and he's fighting way better than Zepeda level. And Canelo and these guys, they're not punching him into the ropes and he's staggering back. The optics of it look bad. So back to it, Shakur, I feel like he's trying so hard to look unbothered, but he always replies to it so you could tell he's bothered. He's like, man, I got him so mad at me. And I personally, I don't prefer that when people do that. Like, for example, Shakur's like, man, I got him tuned in and thanks for the support. Bro, they're not really supporting you. They're all the comments underneath you saying whatever you said about I get to pick Jake Paul's brain and work with him and all that. Most of them were negative. So you're trying to like it's so weird because it reminds me of when I've seen people like celebrities or whatever who
other boxers like Devin Haney and Terence Crawford have also weighed in with their opinions. They believe that no matter how talented Gervonta Davis is, stepping into the ring with someone like Jake Paul brings unnecessary risk due to the massive size difference. Jake is noticeably heavier and taller, which could make the fight physically demanding even with a clear technical gap between them. Both Haney and Crawford emphasize that matchups like this blur the line between real boxing and entertainment. Their comments echo the sentiments of many traditional boxing fans, that the sport should remain competitive and meaningful, not just a business move or a publicity stunt.
As a decent boxer, this is not the first time that someone has come out and said this. We've heard Terrence Bud Crawford come out and say that because of the size difference, Tank won't be able to hurt Jake Paul, and that Jake Paul could probably knock him out with one punch. We've seen Shakur Stevenson's words say that this is a clown show, that this is a disgrace to boxing, that it's something that he doesn't want to be a part of, but then do everything he can to be a part of it by turning from 2-division, 3-division world champion, former unified champion, and turning himself from that into a damn sparring partner for Jake Paul. So people's words, people's actions are showing that they really, really deep down like this fight. And now you can add Devin the Dream Haney to the list of fighters. And I just find it funny because here's the thing. I disagree with him. I am only interested in this fight because, number one, I'm a diehard Gervonta Tank Davis fan. And number two, I don't really like Jake Paul at all. So I would like to see Tank Davis knock his block off. But as far as a competitive standpoint, as far as thinking it's a good fight, as far as loving the fight, nah, bro, I think it's a trash-ass fight. I think Tank Davis is way too good, way too skilled, way too talented to even allow Jake Paul to share the ring with him. That is my opinion. And so as a result, my pick of the fight or my overview and analysis of the fight is the same. If it's a real fight, if this is something that Tank Davis is taking serious, Jake Paul is...
Former world champion Keith Thurman offered a more balanced perspective. He pointed out that the same fans criticizing Gervonta Davis are often the ones who never miss his fights. According to Thurman, people love to complain, yet they still watch because Tank always brings excitement. He explained that this kind of controversy actually keeps Davis in the spotlight and highlights his growing influence in the sport. Thurman believes that no matter how much criticism surrounds this matchup, fans will still tune in to see what unfolds. To him, that proves just how powerful Davis's brand has become. Even his critics play a part in making his fight successful.
Don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What does it say? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, don't find
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know. So, you know, it's money-making purpose.
Throughout his career, Gervonta Davis has consistently spoken about his respect for true boxing and his desire to build a lasting legacy through meaningful fights. He has faced tough opponents and earned victories that solidified his reputation as one of the best in the lightweight division. That's why many fans feel puzzled by his decision to fight Jake Paul, a man known more for internet fame than technical skill. To them, this matchup doesn't reflect Davis's true abilities or ambitions. However, Davis himself hasn't shown much concern for outside criticism. He appears focused on his own journey, suggesting that this fight may serve a personal or financial purpose rather than a legacy-driven one.
With boxing, Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's gonna make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight. I know Tank Davis multiple times has said he only cares about the money and just wants to make $100 million and go retire off an island somewhere, but that's bad for the sport, especially coming from one of our sport's biggest superstars. Look at guys like Naoya Inoue, Alexander Usyk, Terrence Crawford. Those guys are real fighters, okay? They challenge themselves against the best fighters in the world. And money comes their way too from it. Don't get it twisted. What's crazy is Tank would make just as much money if he fought Shakur, Devin Haney, even Teofimo Lopez. The biggest tragedy of all is the fact that Lamont Roach isn't getting his rematch. He got robbed in that fight with a knockdown. He definitely would have won the split decision. and he would have got his Buster Douglas moment, but he didn't. And now he can't even get a rematch because Tank is going to do this. And now Lamont Roach has to fight Pitbull Cruz instead. I used to be such a big Tank Davis fan, but over the last year and a half that I've had this channel, the amount of BS that I've had to report on Tank Davis just like this completely turned me off as a fan of Tank Davis. Jake Paul can do his thing with the influencers, with the MMA fighters, but with boxers,
Many boxing analysts describe the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight as something that doesn't fit within traditional boxing standards. It sits somewhere between a genuine sporting contest and a spectacle designed to attract mainstream attention. In recent years, fights like these have become more common, blending entertainment with competition. While some fans enjoy the spectacle, others fear it harms the integrity of the sport. What makes this particular fight feel especially unusual is that both Davis and Jake are still active in their respective careers. Typically, exhibition-style bouts involve retired fighters or entertainers, not two athletes who are still competing at a serious level.
People are wondering, why has Tank taken this fight? And those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser. Because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. Has Tank? Well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges.
Gervonta Davis's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, has stated that the fight is possible despite the clear difference in size. Having trained Davis since his early teens, Ford knows exactly how to prepare him for larger opponents. He pointed out that Tank's speed, movement, and timing often allow him to overcome physical disadvantages. Ford believes that Gervonta's ring IQ and explosive power could still make him dominant against Jake Paul. Many analysts have echoed Ford's view, arguing that Davis's technical skills and experience would help him adapt quickly, even against someone with a much bigger frame. For Ford, this matchup is simply another test of Davis's ability to face and overcome challenges. Watching Davis step into the ring with Jake Paul will undoubtedly look unusual because of the visible size gap. Jake is naturally much bigger, but appearances don't decide fights. Davis's true strengths lie in his speed, reflexes, and defense. His footwork allows him to evade heavy punches and control the rhythm of the match. Jake, on the other hand, relies more on raw power and basic combinations. While he has shown improvement since his early boxing days, he has never faced an opponent with Davis's timing, precision, or professional instincts. That's what makes this fight so unpredictable. One man depends on size and power, while the other brings refined skill and years of experience. As the fight draws near, opinions remain divided. Some dismiss it as meaningless, while others view it as an intriguing experiment that could attract a new wave of fans. Gervonta Davis enters the ring as the more skilled and proven boxer, while Jake Paul steps in as the confident entertainer with something to prove. The reactions from trainers, former champions, and analysts all reveal just how complex and controversial this event has become.
With this fight, that's how I look at it, you know.
Interesting comment there that they were getting ready for the Roach rematch, and then this fight was, he said they got blessed with this fight, but this fight came through. So the plan was actually to go and rematch Lamont Roach, which is something that I think he should have done. I think they for Tank's legacy, for, just the sanctity of pro boxing when it comes to a world champion and what they do with that world championship belt, I think he should have taken the Lamont Roach rematch. It seems like they were going to, but the obvious reason that everyone, I think, knows why they didn't is because Netflix and a Jake Paul fight come with a massive bag. Like, there's probably no comparison to what Tank will make to fight Lamont Roach or anybody else compared to Jake Paul. Whether you like that or not, it's the truth. He is a money fight, and so is Tank. And that's why they're going to do a shit ton of viewers on Netflix and why they're going to both make a shit ton of money. So the point I want to take away from that is that they were starting to get their minds and body ready for Lamar Roach, which means that Tank was in somewhat of a serious pre-camp, right? Somewhat of a serious, workout regimen, getting himself in shape. Not that Tank is super out of shape out of camp. I don't know that. But this means that he was mentally preparing for a fight regardless. It's not hopping off the couch Tank, which is not what you want to see even against Jake Paul, because the least serious you take Jake, and I've said this about everybody that's fought him, the ones that don't take him serious, the ones that say he's a YouTuber and everything else, they end up losing, or they end up looking like, oh, wait a second, this guy was a little better than I thought. They end up either getting taken by surprise or actually sometimes losing because they don't realize that Jake actually takes it serious. So this is good to hear. Just already right off the rip, they were already doing something.
Surprise. So tell me, when did you hear about this?
They've been going back and forth for years, Tank and Jake. They've been going at it for years, and it would have happened sooner. You know what I'm saying? But we have hiccups in life. That's what I call it, hiccups. But they lessons to learn from. But we back on track and keeping it moving.
When you heard about the fight, were you like, wait, what? Like, we're doing what?
Actually, when I heard about the fight, they called me and said, what you thought about the fight? I say, the fight doable. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched Tanky for years, and I watched other young men and gyms, deal with big guys. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's big. To me, it's like Jake having his first open fights. If anybody know about the amateurs going open, then you go pro. So, he's very